and welcome to another episode of I Take Something You Love and I Trash It. Because that's just how I do. Okay, so I recently rewatched Jennifer's Body. It's a 2009 film written by Diablo Cody and directed by Karen Kusama. I like the movie, but I don't love it. I know it's pretty well beloved in the queer community, and I can't help but wonder, as our critic Holiness Norm did, is it gay enough? And I personally answer that quandary with a fairly strong no. Just a hearty no. So this 2009 film is kind of a spiritual blend between Heathers and Ginger Snaps. Now I like Heathers, but I love Ginger Snaps. So this movie does seem like it should be right down my alley, but it isn't. And to explain that, I kind of need to go and talk about the history of queer horror. Not the whole history, don't worry, but a narrow segment of queer horror that doubles down on heteronormativity, which for some reason people still love, even though it's seeming anti-gay messaging, intentional or not. So there are a lot of examples, but one of my favorites is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, where we have a family has moved into Nancy's old house, and we have a young man, Jesse, who's living in Nancy's old room and is beginning to experience nightmares involving one Freddy Krueger, who is wanting to kind of take over his mind and body. Basically, he wants to become corporeal again, much like our buddy Lopan in Big Trouble in Little China. I don't know why all these bad guys want to become corporeal again. Like, that's how you're gonna lose your powers and get killed. But whatever, all right, that's what you want to do. Who am I to tell you what to do with your body? Your body, do with it what you will. Okay, so he has two friends. One is a girl who looks just like Meryl Streep. It's actually kind of uncanny. And the other is a young man. I don't know if it's Brady or Grady, but I'm going to say Grady and hope that's right. Maybe I could have looked it up. Too late now. And he goes to them for various issues that he's having. So essentially, this does have a very strong queer allegory. Also, just kind of, they call it queer subtext, but it was text. Like, that movie is so overtly queer. It's not even queer coded, it's just gay. wonderfully so. Maybe that's why it's my favorite. And so Freddy would represent like Jesse's queerness, kind of just bubbling below the surface like a monster, trying to wake up and like make him realize who he truly is. But especially given this is the 80s, he's very repressed, and so he's trying to act in a way that is expected of him, meaning heteronormative. And so he's trying to, have a relationship with the Meryl Streep lookalike, but he keeps coming back to Grady. Hey, Grady. And at the end, Freddy has almost completely taken him over. Well, has completely taken him over. And it is through the Meryl Streep lookalike saying that she loves him and like trying to get him to remember who he is. He can, overcome his queerness and end up defeating Freddy, the gay analogy, and become one with his love, and essentially settle down in heteronormativity and reject queerness. And that's what a lot of these movies do. A similar analogy can be made in The Lost Boys, with Michael being at a split between David, who's trying to make him a vampire, trying to make him other, and with Star, who's trying to help him remain human, heterosexual, or heteronormative. And Reanimator, I think you can kind of see this in like Hannibal, the NBC show. Carmilla, I'll get more into that in a moment. Yeah, so monstrosity is often used as a metaphor for queerness because it's other, a dark otherness that is transformative and beckoning in seductive exploration. But it's also, particularly going back into historical context, kind of a curse, not because being queer is in any way, shape, or form bad, but because society is comprised of bigoted jerks. Thank you for coming to my society sucks talk. Sorry. And I think that's why so many vampire stories are such easy queer allegories and tend to have a lot of homoerotic subtext or blatant text within them. And if you look at some of the earliest like vampire books like Carmilla, Dracula, there's another one, I think it's called like Mortuary or something like that, or Tombs, I don't remember. I was trying to find the name, but I really couldn't remember it. And a lot of them have a lot of queer subtext to them, and that just continues into like modern day adaptations and tellings and books. For instance, like Interview with a Vampire, which has a new series that's really good and very gay. Yeah, a lot of these are just very, very, very queer, wonderfully so. You know, you essentially have a trademark bad character who's trying to lure someone of the same sex to their side because be gay do crime, and being bad is more fun. I do, however, see Jennifer's Body as a female empowerment story. The girl, the titular Jennifer, gets to be a succubus, a demon, something similar to a vampire, and kill boys, rather than a naked body used for a deranged man to take his anger or insanity out on. I love that Jennifer is allowed to also be a sexual being and is given the gift of returning to life, albeit as a succubus, specifically and explicitly because she's not a virgin. She doesn't survive the horror movie by abstaining. She survives specifically because she's indulged, and that's great. Having sex isn't what makes her monstrous. It saves her from evil men. That's fucking awesome. That's feminism, man. And she's celebrated for her sexual activity instead of punished for it, which is, you know, what most 80s slasher movies were doing. I mean, this whole movie is like a 2009 version of Belladonna of Sadness, which if you haven't seen it, you can find it. Bro, that movie it's a lot, actually. You might want to put a warning on it, but it's great. Needy is Jennifer's best friend, her biff, and she's smart, a little paranoid, and she's not believed, which is very real. She's not a survivor girl. She's not a final girl. She's a monster hunter. She's a hero. And later, she's turned into a monster herself. More on that later. Now the question. Is this a queer film? Well, Jennifer is canonically bisexual. So yes. Queer seal of approval. All right, good talk. We're done here, but wait, there's more. Is a good representation, and after confirming Jennifer goes both ways, she's speared by Chip. Fucking Chip. And though she's not killed in that moment, it does reek of a barrier gaze. Further, it does harken back to many queer horror-themed films. The queer monster, Jennifer, is trying to lure Needy to her side, and instead of following her, or even jumping off a cliff like some people we know, Needy fully rejects Jennifer and her queerness for a heteronormative life, much like Jesse did in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, and much like Michael did in The Lost Boys, and so on and so forth, like every fucking character. Seriously, she chose stale Christian white bread boy Chip over Megan Fox? I simply could never. This is common in vampire stories, wherein some vampire is after a human, and in the process of turning them, they are killed so the human can remain just that, human. And it works as an allegory of queerness, as I was explaining earlier, if you just sub out queer for vampire. So wherein some gay person, is after a straight person, and in the process of seducing them, they are killed so that the straight person can remain just that, straight. In the end, Needy kills Jennifer in bed by stabbing her in the breast. Well, okay, the heart, but in the breast. And through all that, Needy is herself transformed also into a succubus, although they say demon, but you get the gist. I never really figured out specifically if Needy herself was also bisexual or pansexual or demisexual or anything other than straight sexual. I mean, she lost her virginity, even if it was to sad white bread, but I'm glad she did. This movie allows for strong sexually adventurous teenage girls, which is so rare. And it's a really great female empowering horror movie, as I mentioned earlier. Except for the whole they fight each other instead of working together thing. Looking at you, the craft. But what of the gay of it all? And as Norm said, and I concur, not gay enough. So here's my Lavender Rewrite. Once Jennifer is turned into a succubus, she's not rejected by Needy. Changes the whole story, makes it better. So Needy helps Jennifer to choose and lure boys to kill. This time killing actual D-bags, not the sad little goth boys. And not like, and it's not like it'd be hard to find them. Like, just go on a registered sex offenders list and start picking people off, you know? Not an endorsement, but what I'm saying is just go full Angela. Kill the bad people, you know? And then Christian Whitebread over there will be suspicious of them. He and Needy still have sex. And now it's more, Needy is more able to express her desires and not just kind of give in to chips, right? I feel like she wanted to, but it's because she felt like she was supposed to. I just wanted her to be a little more empowered. And later when Jennifer sneaks into her bedroom, it'll cut away a little earlier and imply more kissing happened. And that would be when Needy is bitten. Then, in the final act, Whitebread over there learns that Needy has been transformed into a succubus by Jennifer, and then he tries to kill Jennifer to save Needy, but then they both kill him. Iconic. And in the end, the two of them leave town together holding hands, like we've seen so many times before. Yay! And now, this movie has been queered. Thank you for watching. Why did you watch? If you made it to the end, oh my god, why? How? I'm sorry? Let's see, comment, if you made it to the end, comment Tangina, which is the name of the character that Zelda played in Poltergeist. Tangina, it's an interesting name. Anyway, yes, thank you for watching. Don't know why you did. Yeah, just thanks. I don't even know what I'm doing. Goodbye.